We are back for another edition of Live from Redhook here at the Function House, and tonight we want to welcome our special guest DJ, Jason Smith.
Hello, thank you guys for having me.
Boogie.
Yo, what's up, man?
Thanks for coming down.
Yo, thank you guys for having me. I've been waiting.
Man.
I've been waiting to crest in this. You know what I mean?
When did you make the switch from Boogie to Jason Smith? That's the question.
Oh shit, 5 years ago. It was a Johnny Maroney thing. Shout out to Johnny Maroney. It was back in the day when we were over at CEG, Central Entertainment Group. We're just looking for a new way to market me. And what happened was, he's like, this boogie thing, there's J Boogie, there's Thai Boogie, there's T Boogie, there's A Boogie, there's all these boogies. There's not an open format DJ that really used their real official name. So he's like, go with Jason Smith. So we went with Jason Smith, and we came with the marketing campaign, who the fuck is Jason Smith? And then went IamJasonSmith.com and all. So there's a whole branding marketing thing behind it.
It's actually a good.
It's a nice, good.
It's a good DJ name.
Is it your real name? Jason
Yeah,
Smith?
I actually have people try to cut me checks, and it's like, so Jason, who do we cut this check out to?
Jason Smith.
Jason Smith.
No joke.
Or cash. Better. Wait, I didn't say that. No, you don't know who's watching.
So you made the switch. How long ago was that?
5 years, right?
5 years.
About 5, 6 years ago, maybe even longer. It's just time flies in this business, man. So it might be. I know I've been here about 13 years. I know Vitale almost
It's been a minute.
12, probably 12, 13.
About 22.
It's been forever.
So talk to us about this illustrious DJ career, because you got a pretty sick,
Yeah, you've been everywhere.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
sick
weathered.
career up until this point.
Yeah, I'm pretty weathered, you know.
Talk to us.
No, but you've been all over the world. 6 out of 7 continents.
6 out of 7 continents. Australia, Asia, Dubai, Africa. Recently, last year, I got to go to Africa. It was who gets to go to Africa?
Yeah.
You know, I had the opportunity to go to Africa.
You in
Did you
South
venture
Africa?
off and do a safari?
Yeah, we did actually. But the car, see, I had a DJ late, and the car was like wanted to pick us up like 5 o'clock in the morning. So we ended up taking an Uber to Safari. That was like 4 hours. I mean, it
Uber
cost
Africa?
us. Yeah, I mean, it cost us like extra, but I needed that extra sleep. Like I didn't care. Once in a lifetime trip, you had to like do it. So
Yeah, of
we
course.
went out. The sad part, I was only there for like a few days. You know, in and out. I would like to have spent a little bit more time in Africa, but
That's the thing with DJing, right? You get to see the whole world for one day.
For one day. I've been to a lot of places. Can't say I've seen all the places I've been, but I've definitely been to a lot of places. So Africa was cool.
How was the nightlife there?
I didn't get into the nightlife, actually. I was there for the Cape Town Jazz Festival.
Okay.
It was me and Mr. Cheeks performing in front of with all these other artists, but like hardcore jazz artists.
Mr. Cheeks performed at a jazz festival.
Yeah, they had a couple of hip hop elements, like Nonfiction also performed there. So they kept it like cool like that. So we had an hour slot, so I did a half-hour DJ set, and then Mr. Cheeks did like his performance.
And what was the music format that you were playing?
I really wanted to tie in some jazz with my sets, so what I did was I took a lot of hip-hop samples. So I'm like, you know, I grew up in the hip-hop era of music, and that's why I do what I do. And so I took a lot of the original jazz samples that like Tribe would use, or like the early 90s records used all these jazz samples. So I try to include those into my set. And then I played Africa Toto like as the last song. And it was just so awesome to play like, you know, Africa, in Africa, dude.
Yeah,
you know what I
it
mean?
was a good tie-in.
Yeah, yeah.
So, what about some of the other continents that you played on?
I spent some time in Australia. That was cool. I was actually there for 2 weeks. So I was on tour with Swayze at the time, and
Yeah, that's what really you toured the world with Swayze.
yeah, I toured with Swayze, and we did a tour with LMFAO, and that's where everything got a little crazy. You know, I was doing well before the tour. It's like one of those things that was hard with the tour, and it still affects me to this day. Is you go away. You get your foot in the clubs and you're doing good, you're back in the clubs, I go away for 3 months and it's always starting at the bottom. Like you forgot about like that. And it was always hindering to me because I went on the road at least 4 times. So it was always coming back to starting at the bottom.
It's even harder now, I think, with the way
Even
how
harder.
fast music is in and out.
Fast in and
You
out.
leave New York City for a month and then you come back and it's that much harder to get back on.
And people change so quickly. Venues are open for 6 months now, you know?
Yeah.
It's like in and out, things don't work, it's just quick, fast.
And then you have just so much competition.
So much competition.
Right.
Back then, it wasn't so much competition, but now it's just like anybody with an iPhone could be a DJ, you know. But not everybody could play. Everybody could play music, but not everybody could play music the right way. That's the way I look at it.
Yep.
And that's where I take advantage of my situation is, you know, I could give you all my records. I'm gonna play it totally different than you're gonna play it. So I have to differentiate be different from everybody else somehow, some way, but not lose the crowd at the same time.
So what goes into
That's the
being
hardest part.
different for you?
Being different for me is taking chances. They always don't work, but I'll take that chance. Like the other night, people stopped playing rock and roll in like top 40 clubs. I just was feeling it. I felt like I had them, and I just dropped Guns N' Roses' "Sweet Child of Mine," and right before the drum kicked in, I went into Cream, like dun, 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 dun. You know, you take those little chances when you have those pockets. So you don't always get those pockets because a lot of times, you know, it goes over people's heads or they don't even know those songs. So it hinders. It's hard sometimes.
Yeah,
So let's take a step back. You're originally from New York, right? Born and raised in New York?
New York, but upstate New York, Binghamton.
Okay.
So coming up through there, like I was here when you guys had Sammy Needles.
Yep.
Like Sammy and I almost have the same storyline. Like small town, only DJ. I started out with one record, one mixer,
Which
and a
record
tape
was
deck.
that?
It's this record right here. The first record I ever
brought it
bought. I brought it. I wanted to play an all vinyl set, but I just moved into a new apartment. So if I couldn't bring my records and do all vinyl set, I thought I'd just pay homage to this
we gotta
beautiful
just
thing.
reflect
I
on this
remember
once again.
that
I mean,
The first record I ever bought.
this
One RCA turntable and a tape deck.
every DJ out there knows about this record.
Oh, yeah.
And like, how can you not?
I don't care what genre of music
Yeah,
you
like
play.
you could
know
not
that
forget.
record.
And probably everybody knows where they actually had it inside their crates or.
I know
record
you did,
boxes.
right?
Yeah,
Right?
I had it in my bag. It was like actually like the fourth.
That's the
record
one that
in
never.
bag.
That's the record that never left the crate ever. Ever.
How huge was that record?
Oh, it was probably one. I remember the video was just so amazing. You know, I don't want to date myself, but like when the Bo Jackson references and all that stuff was just like, Bo Jackson was Bo Jackson.
Yes.
You know, so.
And that was a huge record. I mean, everywhere.
Everywhere.
New York City, Brooklyn, especially. That was a tremendous record.
You could play that record to this day. Everybody knows it.
And everybody knows every single lyric.
Yeah. Especially Busta's part, man.
And
At
that's
one
the
time,
big-
that was one of those records that started a fight in the club.
They're like, oh, no hip hop, man. You can't play that hardcore hip hop.
Just come up
Hardcore
with
hip hop.
scenario.
What? Hardcore hip hop.
What was the scene like in Binghamton? Like being a DJ, playing
Big
parties
college
out
scene,
there,
right?
right?
Yeah, it was a big college scene. My first gig ever, I was probably, it was like when you do those orientation gigs, like you go to like, from like elementary school, you go into junior high, like 7th grade. So we had an orientation. The DJ didn't show up. So somebody was like, this kid DJs? I was like, I never DJ'd out before. What are you talking about? So I went home, I got my RCA turntable, I got my mixer and my tape deck, and I would just try to rock this like little party. And then from there, you know, I was in sports stuff, so it was just a hobby. And then,
How pumped were you though for that?
oh, it was pretty crazy, dude. Like playing Belle Biv DeVoe and stuff, you know, like.
That night, you probably didn't go to sleep. You were
No, it was
so,
amazing.
right?
I went right, I had ice cream right after and went to bed and just couldn't fall asleep.
Like, I can't believe I DJ'd my first gig.
Yeah, it was
last
crazy.
night.
When I was supposed to be dancing, I was actually working. I'm used to that now, you know what I mean? Like, when I'm supposed to be having fun, I actually have to work. Like, my birthday was Sunday, and over Anthony's birthday is here, and
Happy birthday.
thank you, man.
I'm sorry.
And, you know, just this, like, I had to work on my birthday, so I had the most, but I have fun doing what I do, so
I
I'm
always
lucky
used to
that.
work on my birthday.
Always, New Year's, always work, you know,
Yeah.
so.
Like the holidays and everything, right? Thanksgiving
Everything.
Eve, New
Traveling
Year's.
that time of the year is hard. So after that, I just stood with it and just fell in love with the craft. And about like my senior year, I started working in clubs when I was 17. There's this one nightclub in Binghamton called the Ice House.
Oh, there's Ice House right next door.
That's where they got the name. And then from there, you know, some of the SUNY, we didn't really do too much SUNY stuff, but some SUNY Binghamton kids would, you know, hear me play, and they would ask me to do their parties. So I started like DJing with like Enough. They'd bring DJ Enough up all the time, Cypher Sounds. They wanted the Hot 97 DJs, and they would just bring me in as a plug to like, you know, open up or whatever like that.
Yeah,
So I got to work with them, and then the college started liking me, so they started having me open up for their big acts. Like Busta Rhymes was the first act I ever opened up for, and I remember like DJing, back then you DJed in just the regular speakers, but like to DJ on a stage where like you drop and cut a,
And you felt
kick.
it.
There's 2 stacks on each side of me, you know what I mean? Like my heart jumped out of my chest. It hit so hard, and I'm in front of like thousands of people, not just like
The
in a
needle
corner,
was like this when you
dark
put the needle on
club.
the
Yeah,
record,
it was
right?
crazy. And then I just did all that stuff, and then I worked myself into like being on a radio station. It was a top 40 station that did no mixing, no mixes at all. They had me do the live drive at 5. It was like 15-minute mix.
And this was in Binghamton.
Binghamton, clear channel station, and I'd do about 15 minutes. So I'd record it live once a week on, I burned it. I bought one of those CD burner live things. Then it turned into a Saturday night thing. Then I hit the roof. There's nowhere else for me to go, and I met Scribble, met Barnesy. Shout out to Barnesy. I wouldn't be here
So that's
without
how
you
you got
guys.
to Mood Swing.
Mood Swing,
So it was
Barnesy.
Scribbles and Barnesy, and that's who introduced you to
How did you cross paths with them?
Oh, sorry. Scribble was DJing at a party in Binghamton, and I got done early, and I headed over there, and this girl was like, you have to meet Scribble's manager. I know him, which was George Barnes. I don't know. He just liked me for some reason. We stayed in contact.
Shout out to George Barnes.
Shout out to
That's my
Georgie
man,
Barnes.
Georgie
I wouldn't be here without him. So then I found out, but right as I met George, then I found out who Scribble's booking agent was. So this is where the story gets a little crazy. This is where, like, you're determined to make something happens. I used to call, I found out his number somehow, I don't remember how. Back then, you didn't have a computer, so you just had it.
Yeah.
I think it was Polestar I found it in. Polestar is like a magazine that has like who books which acts and stuff. I found out Ricky Greenstein booked DJ Scribble once a month. Hey, I'm good friends with George Barnes. If there's anything you could do to help me out, I'd really appreciate it. Once a month, I'd call this guy.
Consistency.
I would write down nightclubs that I'd find like in papers and
Hungry.
stuff, and send my
Hungry.
tapes.
Love it. I
Like
love
you'd have like a green, like I had my bio on like one of those green like copy papers and send it to all these clubs. George actually pulled out my first like promo pack ever. He still has it to this day, dude. It's crazy.
You should have brought that.
I wish I had it. It was Barney's in Florida. I couldn't get it. But then after that, I like I said, I reached the pinnacle. I couldn't do any more in Binghamton. It was over.
So what year was it when you moved to New York?
Fuck. I moved to New York like maybe 2002, 2003. I was 25 when I moved to New York. I didn't want to say how old I was. It's all right. So I moved to New York about 13 years ago. Struggled.
Yeah, New York's tough.
I didn't move to New York, and George was like, here you go. Here's your gigs. Here's this. Nothing. So I got a job. I was showing apartments for a real estate company, blah, blah, blah. Just struggling. And then George was like, hooked me up with Vega. Shout out to George Vega. And he had me at this spot called 13 Little Devils in the Lower East Side, which is now Max Fish's. But before that, my first gig in New York was Play on Queens Boulevard. Joe Messina. Shout out Joe Messina. First gig ever. I remember bringing my records in. My friend's with me. He's like, yo, guess who's downstairs? I was like, what? He's like, Scribble came to hear you play. This is when Scribble's like the biggest DJ in the world. He's downstairs listening to me play some pool hall in Queens, you know what I mean? So I struggled for like 2 years. Worked at FAO Schwartz.
But that makes you want it more.
More. I didn't leave. Most people would give up and go back to their safety zone in a small town in Binghamton. But I didn't want that. I felt if I did that, I failed, and I didn't want to fail. So I worked at FAO Schwartz. I remember walking home and just like, there's a pizza spot on the corner of my block. And I'd walk by there, and I'd be like, I couldn't even afford a slice of pizza, bro. But I just I just made it happen. And then George just was like, yo, I want you to, like, I finally showed and proved how hungry I was and how bad I wanted it. And George was like, yo, I want you to come meet Ricky Greenstein. And that was it. That changed everything. I started out as an agent working for them, but I had my foot in the door. And I remember I worked with Fat Man Scoop a lot. Like, Scoop used to take me on the road before I came to New York. And Scoop was like, the best thing you ever did was go be an agent at CEG, which turned into Mood Swing.
Yeah.
See that, like, so when you really want it and you put in that determination, look what happens. You know what I'm saying?
It's true, man.
It's
You
the
want
truth.
something hard enough, you're gonna make it happen.
That's right. That's right. So when you finally get there, what does that feel like? Like, when did you finally feel?
I
like,
still don't feel that way though.
No, I mean, you should never feel that way because you should always want more.
Of course.
Right? You should
Yeah, yeah.
always want to be earning for more. But when did you feel like, wow, I'm starting to have some success now. I'm playing.
Probably the first time I took a cab from my apartment to the Lower East Side.
And
And
when
I'm
you got a
looking
slice
at,
of pizza at that store.
finally, finally I can get fat, bro. No, I was going over what is that
I
bridge?
could get
That
a
BQE
pepperoni
bridge,
slice.
and you got the skyline right there, and like it was night, and I was like, wow, I'm really fucking playing in New York City. I'm fucking gonna run this town.
Yep.
So, what about your first like legitimate gig in Manhattan, like where you were playing in a really good spot, like a good club? Like, what was that like? What was that place? Do you remember?
Oh shit, that might have been. There were so many that just came and go so quick. I think it was. I don't even remember the name of it now. Crimson, maybe.
Crimson, 21st.
Yeah, it was Metro. It was
Metronome and
Metronome.
Crimson.
Yeah.
I remember Metronome.
Yeah, it was on 21st and Broadway. I think that was the first one. I remember that being one of the first clubs I went to. The first club I ever went to in New York was China. What was it?
China Club?
China Club. Joe Messina.
Yep.
He had Spin Bad downstairs. It was dope. And yeah, then I went to Crimson and played. I used to hear Big Ben playing there, and that's the first time I heard a hip hop DJ playing fucking rock records. And I was like, oh my God, I could do that? Because in Binghamton, if I played anything other than like Beanie Siegel or like Jay-Z or like that hardcore hip hop, they weren't having that shit. You know, that's all I could play. I couldn't play like, you know, rock and roll. I couldn't play like, you know, old shit like Belle Biv DeVoe. Like I couldn't be versatile like I wanted to be. And seeing Big Ben play that way was a huge inspiration. You know?
And you're like, oh, there's more to it. Like,
Yeah.
You can experiment. Yeah.
So your AC treating you well over these years. You've been working a lot.
I've been in Atlantic City for about 8 years. Started out at Tropicana. Was really great. Just reached the time where I just needed to move on, and luckily I had a chance to go over to the Borgata. I've been at the Borgata for about 2 years now, and I'm at the club called Premier that just opened up last year, which is really good, man. Everything's beautiful.
When's your next time you're playing there?
I'm there actually every Sunday for the rest of the year, and then next year we're switching up dates. My contract's up, but I'm good for next year over there, so that's exciting too.
That's
Yeah, they
awesome.
got like a dope concept at the Borgata where it's like they have 2 weekends, right? They have like the Friday, Saturday, and then they have the Sunday, Monday.
Yeah, Sunday, Mondays are good. What happened was recently Sundays were kind of slow, but since I've been over there, they've been catching up to Mondays, which is great. And Monday is one of their bigger nights. I think Saturday and Monday are their 2 biggest nights, and to know that me putting in the work and being over there and trying to help out, build it up, they've been happy with the numbers. So
Yeah, and the crowds are really good. I mean, because you get a lot of people who are coming from the boroughs, who are coming out there. Plus, you get the Philly.
yeah, plus you get
people.
Philly, boroughs, and
And
then
then
you
Jersey.
get Jersey Shore. Yeah, you get a mix of everybody. So the key about playing AC kind of like is like playing like Vegas. You have every night you're playing the same spot, but it's like playing at a different club
Yeah.
because you don't know what you're gonna get. One night I can play house. One night I need to play hip hop. You know, it's always different.
How about the management over there? They on you about like playing certain records and telling you what to play for bottle clients and stuff like that?
Not at all. I get that. You get that in New York.
Yeah.
So when I was at Mood Swing, I was on the road a lot. I didn't even play New York, ever. And that's how, you know, I've asked you for favors and people for favors to get me in New York, because after that kind of shifted to the EDM scene, I kind of needed New York to have my back. But I didn't play New York before that because I was always on the road, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I mean, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, I was always traveling. And, you know, I didn't need to play New York. I didn't need to be told, hey, man, I got this table over there. You're not doing, if I have to play a shitty song for this table, that makes me look bad.
Yeah.
But you have to do it in a certain way to make these people happy. And you have to know how to work with people in this industry. And that's one of the things that I pride myself on. I'm always going to be on time. I'm always going to be there. I'm always going to be cordial. I'm easy to work with, and, you know, I do my job and I go home.
Yeah.
No bullshit.
But that goes a long way
It does, and that's what's given me so much success in my career, I feel.
because, you know, like when you're humble, when you're courteous, when you show respect, people recognize that. You know, like if you come in being a dick.
No,
You know.
yeah, but sometimes they remember those people more, though.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
They
Yeah,
do,
yeah.
but you know, unless like you're like this super, you know, like if you're like
Yeah,
this
yeah, yeah.
ultimate superstar,
No,
then you can get away with all
You
that.
just got to
stuff.
know how to play. Like, I treat everybody from the the bathroom attendant to the management the same. And I think that's just the way I treat people in general. So I try to do that with my career.
So in playing music, what are some of like your most favorite records that you always have in a rotation? Like, is there a couple of records that you?
It varies from time to time.
But like, are there like some of your favorites that you love to rock when you get a chance to play in a club? Like, what would you, or I mean, I know it's a loaded question.
It is. It's
It is a
heavy
loaded
on my shoulder.
question. But you know, like there are some tracks, like you know, like I know personally, like certain songs that I love to play when I ever get the chance to play it. I mean,
It's-
what is it for you?
What is it for me?
Or is there a particular
How
genre?
about genre?
I just, I'll play anything. I have fun and I like playing music when I have people having fun. So I don't really care what it is. I could go home and play my own, I could play for myself all day, but I can't do that in the club. I get off by seeing these people enjoying themselves. You know what I mean? So it's hard for me to say, oh, I like this record when I play it all the time, even though the crowd doesn't like it, because that wouldn't be fair to them. They're paying me. So why would it be fair for me to play a certain record that I know that I would love to play, but they aren't really interested in hearing?
Yep.
So, but there is certain records, of course.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, there's records I'd love to play, and I'm like itching to hit that trigger.
Yeah, but you'd love to play them with a crowd that would appreciate it.
It makes it so much better. Like, for instance, I'll tell you, I played a few months ago with, another part of that question, like, do they tell me what to play? Well, Borgata doesn't tell me what to play over there, the management, but sometimes the DJs, so basically at the Borgata, I open 3 times a month and I headline once a month. That was the deal, you know, so I didn't want to see him just open a DJ over there, headline, everything's good, because I couldn't leave headline Tropicana to fall back to an opening
course,
DJ.
yeah,
It wouldn't
yeah.
be, I worked too hard in this business to be fallback.
Oh,
So, but when I opened up for Above and Beyond, that's when it came down to like,
Oh, I heard about this.
I had to send in a playlist. They threw songs, they were like, we kind of want you to play like this before you open for us. And it was like straight, deep, trancey tech house, no vocals. And I'm like, oh shit, I don't have it. I don't even know. So I just spent like, I get a day and I just spent a day just finding these beautiful records, send them a set list. I go, I don't have a set list. I don't play by set. So I can't tell you I'm gonna play this song, this song, this song. I'm gonna play within these songs. Is this cool? They said no. So I went back and I did it again. I said, all right, I took out some of the cheesy vocal ones that I had, and I said, all right, how about this one? I didn't hear anything back, so I just did it. So basically what it came down to when I played for Above and Beyond, I'm playing records that I didn't even know.
You must have had a ball.
I didn't even know these records. Like, I didn't know the drop was coming. As long as I knew the count, I knew it was all right. But I didn't know what it was going to be like after the drop hits, you know what I mean? Because I was just like, I curated it so hard that I only knew that I only put good records in that crate to play. But, like, to get that love, I've been DJing for, like, 20 years. And to get that love back, like, these people were pressed against the barrier, thinking I was like the best deep house trance DJ ever when I would never even play that music in my life. I remember sitting there having like my chest, I thought I was having a heart attack. I started having a pain in my left arm. And it just, the energy in this building was so intense that it was just like.
Were you full on trance, hands in the air, jumping?
I was playing the role, but not that hard. I wasn't like.
At what time were you? What time were you playing till?
I played from like 10 to like till 12:31. But what I did was a half hour before they got on, I knew I would stick to like just straight chill out, just playing records.
Yeah.
But before that, I was banging them, you know. But I knew you have to play your role.
Yeah, of course.
You know, and some opening DJs don't know how to play that role.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, we've had that conversation many times on the show, and we've also talked about how it's actually cool to open up a room sometimes.
It is. I get to play records that I don't usually normally get to play. And it seriously is, it's an art.
It is.
In its own, man.
It is. People don't realize how important that is to open up that room.
I seen Conflict open once for one of my friends in Miami at Louis, and this kid was like, bro, you gotta go on after this dude. He wasn't playing anything, banging, but the way he was playing it was so beautiful. I was like, bro,
Yeah.
my friend was like, I don't even want to go on. I'm having so much fun listening to this kid play. He was so dope, man. Shout out to Conflict.
So you didn't prepare much for us, right? Because you wanted to do all vinyl.
I wanted to do all vinyl set, but I did. I pulled like 552 records.
How many do you think you're gonna play in an hour and a half?
I want to play a lot quick, fast records. I actually wanted to let some records ride. I don't feel like, it's hard, man. I got some like blends and stuff I want to do. I came up listening to like the first person that got me into this was I had DJ Spinner had a radio show called the Rude Rhythm Show, and it was on the local 90.5 SUNY Binghamton radio station.
Right.
And that's how I learned to DJ, by listening to this dude play records. And from there, I fell in love with mixtapes. I used to be the mixtape king. I used to be on the phone with Envy, like back in the day when he used to do Envy, yo, can you help me out type stuff, And I used to make blend tapes because the first mixtape I ever heard was Ron G13. And just to hear those blends, a cappella over an instrumental, just rocking, was like, that was it for me. Because you can DJ, you just play a song, but if you're blending two songs together, a cappella, you're making music. I don't play a piano or this or that, but blending music was me creating something different, and that's the way I came up. So basically, my set was curated. Tonight's set, I kind of curated around records that really influenced me, and have a huge part of my career. So I was gonna take it through like a journey from like where it started all the way up.
So,
But
before we get you on the set,
yeah,
what was your worst experience as a DJ?
probably when you had to take shit. I think it was, what was that room that was like opium or something like that in New York?
Man.
What was that
That's the
stuff?
last thing I thought you were gonna say.
Any equipment malfunctions?
Oh, you always have that, man.
Didn't you drop a drink on somebody's computer once? I'm not gonna mention his name.
Yeah, I did do that. I was going through a rough time in life. but I was really good about it. You know what I mean? I hit him up the next day, and I was just like, yo, I'm so sorry. I'll take care of it. I'm not gonna say it. But he was cool with it. Like he knew it was. It is what it was. It wasn't like I was being an idiot or anything like that. That was an actual accident.
It happens.
I wasn't too drunk then. But see, the thing is about, back to your question, I'm sorry. New York, they just throw you in. You have the war. If you work in New York, you've seen everything shitty possible. No monitor. The gain doesn't work.
Broken faders.
No fader. No fucking what is that shit? The fader works, but there's no
There's no
There's no
the
button
cap on the
it,
fader.
cap's always
Yeah,
gone.
Cap's gone.
I seen somebody put a starburst on it once.
That's gangster. I played at Studio 9 back in the day in Woodbridge, and that's where that's where things started building up. And they were like, yo, you gotta play them. I used to play in the hip hop room with Riz. Shout out to Riz. And they were like, you're gonna play the main room tonight, right? I'm like, oh shit, I'm all excited. I get in there, it's a fucking rotary. I've never seen a rotary mixer in my life. And I'm like, what? How does this even work? I'm just train wrecking all
Yuri,
night.
you talking about?
Yeah,
Knobs?
probably.
The knob makes no crossfader.
Yo, Flex cuts on a Yuri.
Yeah.
That's dope.
Flex cuts on a Yuri. Remember, he used
Yeah.
to like Palladium. He'd come in there and he'd be cutting on a Yuri. It was like the first person I've ever seen cut on a Yuri.
But imagine going to a club and like DJing for like 10 years and like trying to impress this main room, and you walk in and there's
Not touching
knobs.
the Yuri, yeah.
She's like, oh, it's gonna.
I don't even know what it's
gonna be a
called.
tough
I've only
one.
seen it. It's gonna be a long night.
Well, yo, thanks for coming down.
Yeah, man, I'm so happy to be here,
Yeah,
man.
Looking forward to
Finally.
hearing you play.
Yeah, I hope I don't suck.
Jason, thanks for coming.
Thanks
on
so
the show,
much
bro.
for having me.
All right, we're
man.
gonna
Yeah,
take a
guys.
2-minute break. We're gonna get Jason up on the table.
All right, let's do it.